everyone, and thank you for your attendance. I would like to address U.S. government announcements on March 4th regarding U.S. sanctions on individuals and entities in Zimbabwe. The United States is committed to upholding core values of respect for human rights and responsible, transparent governance. We have expressed and continue to have concerns regarding serious cases of human rights abuses and corruption in Zimbabwe. On March 4th, President Biden signed an executive order terminating the Zimbabwe Sanctions Program, which has been in effect since 2003. That same day, the U.S. Department of the Treasury, Office of Foreign Assets Control, or OFAC, designated 11 individuals and 3 entities for their engagement in corruption and human rights abuses under the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act. The United States is committed to ensuring our sanctions are timely, relevant, and targeted against individuals responsible for corruption and serious human rights abuses. In Zimbabwe, we continue to witness gross abuses of political, economic, and human rights. The targeting of civil society and severe restrictions on political activity have stifled fundamental freedoms, while key actors, including government leaders, have siphoned off government resources for personal gains. Sanctions on these individuals and entities do not represent a sanction on Zimbabwe or its public. The United States reaffirms its commitment to working with the people of Zimbabwe. This sanctions transition makes clear what has always been true. U.S. sanctions are not on the country of Zimbabwe. We are refocusing our sanctions on specific and clear individuals and entities. We continue to urge the government of Zimbabwe to take concrete steps to more open and democratic governance, including addressing corruption and protecting human rights. President Biden has determined that the authorities in the executive order that he signed that implements the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act is the best approach to address human rights and corruption concerns in Zimbabwe. The United States has made regular adjustments to the previous, now terminated, Zimbabwe Sanctions Program, including adding and removing individuals based on available evidence. U.S. sanctions are not intended to be permanent. Our sanctions are most effective when they're up to date and reflect realities on the ground. And that's why we've made the change at this time.
Next question. Yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Tafanzo Anyikadzino. I'm from State of the Nation News. I just want you to give us maybe an overview of how effective has been the sanctions policy in Zimbabwe, especially on targeted individuals. Let me give you a little bit of context. The sanctions on Zimbabwe were introduced in the early 2000s, and one of the individuals who happens to be still on the list is President Mnangagwa. Back then he was the minister, but right now he's the president of the whole Zimbabwe. How have the sanctions been effective to ensure that he improves human rights records in Zimbabwe? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. And yes, the 11 individuals and 3 entities sanctioned under the current Global Magnitsky designations are there for their flagrant human rights abuses and corrupt behavior. U.S. policy, our policy has not changed. Our policy on Zimbabwe supports the citizens in Zimbabwe and its democratic institutions. That has not changed. But this is a shift in approach. But it's consistent in our focus on corrupt actors and human rights abusers. U.S. sanctions are not intended to be permanent. One of the primary goals of U.S. sanctions is to bring about positive changes in behavior. That might take time. But we encourage the government of Zimbabwe, including members of the government named in these March 4th designations, to take concrete steps toward democratic reforms that they themselves have said that they seek. Next question.
Please.
Thank you. My name is Catherine, so I'm a freelance journalist. Are we likely to see the review of ZIDERA as a way of encouraging proper re-engagement between Washington and Harare? I think.
Thank you for the question. I think it's an important one that many people are asking. The Zimbabwe Democracy and Economic Recovery Act has not changed, but ZIDERA is not a sanction. We've never invoked ZIDERA to oppose international financial institution loans or debt restructuring. ZIDERA outlines a clear roadmap for government of Zimbabwe to access concessional financing and possible debt restructuring. But this can only happen once the government of Zimbabwe has paid its outstanding debt arrears to the international community. Messaging on ZIDERA might be catchy, but ZIDERA is not the problem. ZIDERA is not the cause of Zimbabwe's economic troubles. Decades of economic mismanagement and widespread corruption are, and they have directly caused lasting economic impacts. Next question.
In the yellow dress.
Thank you so much. My name is Rutendo Mawere. There have been reports that the sanctions have aided corruption in Zimbabwe because the authorities or individual companies that have been sanctioned then try to bust sanctions using, a lot of things. How effective will this be, sanctions on the individuals that have been put under these sanctions? And how will it aid in, trying to solve the issue of corruption?
Thank you for the question. We will see. I think any assessment on the new approach should be based on the nature of the designations rather than the number of designations. Global Magnitsky is intended to target recent or ongoing behavior. So it's to encourage a change in that behavior. The designations announced under Global Magnitsky target senior officials and private sector actors presently connected to corruption and human rights abuses, and we will pursue further action as necessary and appropriate.
Final question.
No.
The hand here. Sir?
Wallace Mujitsu from the Herald newspaper. You repetitively said there are no sanction, 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 no sanction.
Of the United States